If you think you've seen it all, if you think you've seen it all, stick around. There's a lot we've lost, but so much to be found. If you think you've got it all, if you think you've got it all, you've got it wrong. There's more in store. The best is yet to come. If you think you've seen it all, oh, stick around. Stick around. If you think you've seen it all, oh, stick around. Stick around. And let us boldly go where only those with open hearts can go, where words aren't spoken and time is golden and love's blindfolding us with hope, and we stay honest and keep our promises, keep evolving, keeping on this, and all we have to do is hold on, and love will do the rest. All we have to do is hold on and take another breath. If you think you've heard it all, if you think you've heard it all, I'll say it again. Love will never, ever end. If you think you've seen it all, oh, stick around. Stick around. If you think you've seen it all, stick around. Stick around. If you think you've seen it all, oh, we're just getting
Thank you, Ryan. I heard that for the first time at Red Rocks this summer when I was gifted fourth row tickets to see Jason Mraz. I was like, we literally had 20 minutes to make the decision and we had to go. I was like, no. And then I found out they were in the fourth row. I said, yes. But that last line, we're just getting started, really just broke me open, right? Because so much feels like it's changing and falling apart, and it feels scary and heavy, and then it was like, what's being revealed. We're just getting started in a new evolution, a new wave of life. And there's hope there. There was such hope there. So thank you for doing the song. I had never heard it before. And it mentions evolution. Our Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore spoke of zeal in this way. He said, "Zeal, enthusiasm, and passion are the inward fire of the soul that urges humankind onward, regardless of the intellectual mind of caution and conservatism." There is that within us, right? In that very moment, there was part of me that was like, holy cow, what does it mean? What does it mean when it's all falling apart and we don't know what it is? Part of me is like, conservatism, right? But there's also a part of me that's like, oh, there's something that we don't know yet. And while that's scary, there's part of it that's super exciting. And that we are the ones that get to be a part of co-creating that. Super exciting. I was at a workshop yesterday that Linda was supposed to facilitate on prayer, affirmative prayer, but her co-author of her new book was able to join us via Zoom. Thank you for technology when it works, right? And she mentioned the new thought in a way that I hadn't quite put together. I think I've learned it in bits and pieces, but she said it very succinctly. And by new thought, I mean this movement that we are a part of in Unity, as is Centers for Spiritual Living and Divine Science, that came about at the turn of the 20th century. And Unity is a part of, a key part of. And she made mention that it was actually born out of this need to reconcile the collision between science and religion. Science was growing. We were knowing, humanity's been around longer than Scripture, and there were dinosaurs, and people, it was like, wait a minute, how can both be true, right? And so this metaphysical approach, specifically to Scripture, to say that is not a literal story, it's a metaphorical, metaphysical story that is really telling us about our own spiritual development, the evolution of spiritual development of humankind. And in that story, we can, if we know, we're not literally trying to get a camel through a needle or something, what? That it's trying to tell us something about how we navigate being both spiritual and human. And that makes a lot more sense. And then, even then, you need some context. We've gone over that. We need to know what the people of the times were dealing with, and why he used these particular examples when we're talking about Jesus. But what a fabulous example of that impetus to evolve that these people in the early 1900s, of which we are, these are our ancestors, if you will, of Unity, that founded this movement that said, we're not going to just get rid of it because it doesn't make sense. We're going to try to think about how we're thinking about it. What is it even supposed to be telling us? And that will take a little more effort on our part, but it will also be more personable. So Charles Fillmore, as you know, because you've been studying hard with me all this year, went about the business of assigning each of the 12 disciples one of these capacities that we all have inherently. So this is, again, how many of you read scripture about the disciples and were like, not so interesting. Who are these guys? Why are they all guys? Whatever. But when you start to say, okay, this is speaking to some aspect of me that I need to develop in service of the Christ of my being, of my spiritual nature, then it makes a little more sense. And even then, some of them are a bit of a stretch. But this month, Zeal has two great ones. I haven't talked a ton about the disciples. So let me just say, if you're new to us, you can jump right in today with Zeal. We're talking about these 12 capacities that our co-founder Charles Fillmore taught, that we all have inherently, that we use all the time. And we're learning about them in a way that we can master them for higher and higher levels of awareness and consciousness, to become more aware and more embodied and more aligned with this truth that we speak of, that we are expressions of spirit. And so as Jesus was calling these individuals, he was calling forth what Charles Fillmore would say, these individual capacities that we need to hone in service of our spiritual truth, our spiritual nature, the Christ of our being. So, zeal, I wouldn't put our slide up. I'll just give you the quick definition. Again, zeal is our power, our capacity of enthusiasm, audacity, and devotion, which fuels evolution. It propels us to grow and to expand. And the location that he gives, similar to the chakras, he sort of gives a physical location, and that is in the back of the neck, sort of the lower end of the brainstem. The medulla oblongata. Sounds like a foreign language. You didn't know I spoke a foreign language. Medulla oblongata, which is along the lower brainstem, connecting our brain and spinal cord, and it controls important anatomic functions like breathing, blood pressure, and heart rate. You can see that, right? If you really get worked up, so does your heart rate and your blood pressure, right? The disciples, the disciple that represents this is Simon. He's known two ways as the Canaanite, which just refers to his heritage. He comes from the land of Canaanite. And he's also referred to as Simon the Zealot, referring to his activity before he followed Jesus. So the Zealots, for context, were a group of fanatics who lived in the mountains and fought the Romans, trying to free their land and their government from the foreign oppressors. So they were really known for violence. They were extremists. And they were, though using this power of zeal, they were devoted to their people and their plight, but the way they went about it was quite severe, killing people, basically. I love how the author Winifred Wilkinson Hossman says, this is how she sums up the Zealots. They were rough men who lived a hard life of perpetual fighting, resisting, and resenting. Yet they were demonstrating great enthusiasm and devotion for their mission. They were devoted to the ideal of freedom and sovereignty, albeit via extreme violence. There's a nugget in there that we get to choose what we are zealous toward and how we express that. The root of what drove them was good. How they went about it, not so good. So the lesson here, as that same author goes on to say, is before our zeal is awakened to spiritual ideas and rightly directed by the Spirit within us, it may dedicate itself solely to the pursuit of materialistic aims and goals. Right? One may be zealous to make money, gain worldly power, or be successful in a materialistic project or pursuit, even via righteous violence. The activity of zeal can serve as the awakening of enthusiasm and an interest in living. But allowed to take over and dominate our thinking, it may result in a fire that consumes and depletes. And so it was with Simon the Zealot, who changed his way of life and became zealous for the truth knowing the truth in a different way by following Jesus. Truth in a different way by following Jesus. And again, following Jesus is this example for following the Christ of our own being, following our own spiritual nature. Yes, Jesus was the man that fully demonstrated that, but he was also mirroring that for all who would listen to him and follow him. Linda Martella-Whitsett reminds us that energy is not good or bad. Exuberance by itself is not a sign of wielding our power of zeal, because it must be tempered with understanding and wisdom. We can be zealous about all sorts of things. But are we using our understanding and our wisdom in a way that zeal is fulfilling our higher purpose, right? And the truth of our being. So in Simon's case, there's another way to bring about freedom. And he discovers that through his learning with Jesus. That violence and resistance and resentment wasn't the only way. Huge shift for him. The feminine representation is also fabulous. It's the Samaritan woman at the well, who was said to be the first person outside of his initial followers and family and friends that Jesus proclaimed who he was. Let her know that she was in the midst of the Christ. And this is really significant for several reasons. First of all, the Samaritans and the Jews have different beliefs about the location of God's dwelling place, like where the site of the world. Boy, that's poignant. The Samaritans were condemned by the Jews. They were both of Jewish heritage, but they had this historical grudge. Yet Jesus surprisingly and purposefully leads his new followers to Samaria, where they're like, wait, no, we don't want to go to Samaria. Do you know who lives there? The Samaritans. Sometimes the words give it away. He takes them there purposefully. And this particular woman he seems to know all about, and he knows where to find her. She is said to be an adulteress and deemed unclean. She was shamed and outcast by her family and her community, literally having to go to that well during the middle of the day, not with the women in the morning when it was cool, but during the heat of the day, because no one would go with her. No one would be seen with her. And here's Jesus, the Christ, asking her for a drink. Now, he may have literally been thirsty, but he is making a point to ask her. He seems to be keenly aware of her situation, of her isolation, of her pain. And here's the other thing. Jewish men never spoke in public to women they didn't know. Sort of like in Muslim countries still, and especially he would not be speaking to a Samaritan woman. But by asking her for a drink, he was breaking racial, religious, and gender barriers, which is what he was doing all along. And so it's significant that he chooses her to reveal his Christhood. And her response is an enthusiastic, joyous one. She runs from the well to tell everybody that she has seen the Christ. Her! And he knows all that she's done, and he has forgiven her. I'll remind us again that while the revelation of the Christ through that physical person of Jesus that has gotten so much attention, rightfully so, but his greater purpose was always to mirror that in us. And who better but people who have been left out, who are in pain, who feel like they don't belong, aren't connected. They're open, they're receptive. And then he goes back. When she goes back, they think, of all people, you? Why would he tell you? So now the curiosity and the awareness the willingness to lean in and know more about this. That no matter what they had done, from adultery to murder, or how resentful or destitute they were, the Christ of their being remained intact. And he saw it and called upon it and trusted it so much that they could begin to see it and call upon it and trust it. And that's our charge, right? Literally, in Simon's case, who left his life as a zealot, he literally left his life, but also spiritually, meaning he turned from his former ways and were focused outwardly in order to focus inwardly. That's the invitation that we're doing here. It's so tempting. I do it all the time. I want to look out here and say, if you would only do this, quit bothering me. Quit doing it wrong. Right? It's like, oh, God, why? What can I adjust in me? Because if I'm saying that to you, I'm saying that to me 10 times over. Why do I do it wrong? Why don't I get it right? So this is the invitation for us all when we turn within and develop an understanding of and a reliance of the Christ of our being, our own spiritual nature. We no longer need multiple lovers or defensive, violent maneuvers, to put it in the words of the woman at the well, or in the experience of the woman at the well and the Simon the Zealot. So enthusiasm and audacity are the two expressions of zeal we're focusing on today. Enthusiasm expresses as our eagerness for life, our interest in and optimism about our intentions and our plans. It's noticeable when someone's enthusiastic. Yeah? You get drawn in. And high levels of zeal frequently expressed through people as energetic, bright, filled with light, zestful, and exuberant. Norman Vincent Peale said that you can think, talk, and act yourself into dullness or into monotony or unhappiness. And by the very same process, you can build up inspiration, excitement, and a surging depth of joy. Now, I always want to give room for the fact that, you don't have to sing zippity-doo-dah every day. There are times and seasons of life where zeal is not at the forefront. I've shared with you some grief I've been dealing with of the loss of a young man in a motorcycle accident. And so I was like, I cannot believe I have to speak about zeal. Right? I don't feel enthusiastic about life. But you know what? It is the enthusiasm for life itself that I was grieving. And beneath it all, I know a higher truth. I know it's just the humanity. This like I wanted to see what he could be. But my enthusiasm isn't gone forever. I might just be a little tired, a little sad, a little heavy. And that's okay to make space for that. I'm really struggling with that. I never want it to be like you've got to be this all the time, right? Know that you have this full capacity, this full range. And know too that I think it gets scary when you think it's not going to come back. Those of you who've experienced real deep losses sometimes get in that rut. And that's important to begin to say, okay, at this point, I need to start focusing on life. I can't stay in this cave of grief and sadness. How can I begin to focus back into life? And that is a process. So I ask you to consider for yourself, do you, outside of a tragedy, okay, do you more often think, talk, and act in ways that promote dullness, monotony, or unhappiness? or in ways that build up inspiration, excitement, and a depth of joy. And just become conscious of that. It's a switch. Sometimes we can you get going and, I can tell you all the reasons why I could be unhappy. Follow your social media for a little bit. And notice also what you are naturally enthusiastic toward. I think that gives us some clues about our individual, unique purpose. And then audacity. I love the word audacity, divine audacity, this a capacity for us to live as if we know we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Audacity is an aspect of zeal relating to our inherent evolutionary impulse. As Linda Martellowitz says, our power source, zeal is our power source for moving in the direction of fulfillment and beyond the bounds of perceived limitations. Audacity is that quality of boldness and forwardness. And I can't ever think about zeal without thinking about the infamous statement by Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore, who said this, and I should begin by saying he said this at age 94. I fairly sizzle and spring forward with zeal and enthusiasm to do the things that ought to be done by me. And this is a statement that points to that evolutionary impulse within humanity that continues, if we focus on it and attune to it, to inspire and enliven us no matter our physical age. Our life's purpose continues. Now, that purpose might morph and change in different seasons and different times of life. It's really kind of cool what they're doing with the crone ceremony to honor this stage of womanhood. And I'm sure there's a component for men. I don't know. We don't have would it be a blue tent group? But right, that there are these significant milestones in life. And being an elder in our Western society has really not been a good or fun thing. It's been diminished. If you're not useful and productive, get out of the way. But with life, wisdom, and loving and living, boy, that creates an amazing level of wisdom that is to be honored. And then when it's honored for ourselves, we can audaciously own it, right? I'm not coloring my hair anymore. Boom! Charles also gives us a bit of wisdom. He offers a word of warning about zeal. Turn a portion of your zeal to do God's will to the establishing of the kingdom within you. That's his wording. Do not put all your enthusiasm in teaching, preaching, healing, and helping others. Help yourself. Do not let your zeal run away with your good judgment. Sometimes it's like, I'm going to fix everybody else. I'm going to help everybody. I got to fix the world, and you are depleted. But there is a purpose. He had a purpose. He knew what was to be done by him. And see, when we're doing everything for everybody, and I'm learning this the really hard way. Sorry for those of you who've been trying to help me and know that sooner. We were trying to do it all. You're not doing anything very good. And you're likely not on track for your purpose. There's something about our purpose that, yes, we have to we have to be courageous. We have to let go of this voice in our heads that says, who do you think you are? Or you can't do that. Or maybe just this. You're too old for that. All that garbage. See, when we're busy helping and fixing out here, we don't have to deal with that. But we kind of project it out there and people get sick of it. Just a word to the wise. So, I'll say that again. Do not put all your enthusiasm into teaching, preaching, healing, and helping others. Help yourself. Well, he goes on to say, when we first are awakened to spiritual ideas, we might get carried away in our desire to transform the world. If everyone could just think like I think, it would be great. Or even to change our family and friends. Oh, especially them. But we must first learn to direct this energy toward transforming ourselves, bringing forth our own spiritual nature. It's like that adage, right? Put your own mask on. You can't do much. You really are going to pass out at any time if you're running around putting everyone else's on. Any questions? Let's have a little time of meditation where you can connect with this for yourself. So I'll ring the singing bowl that invites us to drop from our head to our heart. Just invite you to take a deep breath. Closing your eyes, feeling again the support of the ground beneath your feet and the chair behind your back. Taking a breath. Check in with our Zeal center, which is up in that base of our neck. So begin to bring your attention and as you continue to breathe, you might shrug your shoulders up, hold them up, a lot of tension in that neck. We'll get to that. Maybe bring your head forward, your chin down, stretching out the back of your neck. And then over to the left. Continuing to breathe. Back through center and over to the right. So maybe noticing some tension and inviting through your breath and through any movement that would help, some relaxation in that area. A stiff neck can be the result of many years of forced determination. Perhaps directing our power of zeal toward converting others in some way by force or resisting and resenting. So that's interesting information. Invite the muscles of your neck to relax. You might even envision a vibrant orange light shining in that area, that color of zeal. And tell your brain, we're going to relax. I'm going to let my neck relax, let my physical body relax in this moment. Where we are safe, don't need to be protected, don't need to be on alert, don't need to be doing a to-do list. We are inviting our presence to be right here, right now. And relax in this moment as much as possible. And our affirmation here is really to let go. To let go and let Spirit live and breathe and be through you in this moment. You don't control that. You let go of the grip of control in order to sense it, to invite it. Letting go and letting Spirit, do its work in and through you now. Relaxing. And tuning into this deep source of enthusiasm. The audacity to connect with the power and the presence of God within you at work right here, right now. This is the power and the presence that is most worthy of your devotion. And it has and forever will be devoted to you. To living and loving and laughing through you. So as you take a deep breath, let these words be your own. I am centered in the evolutionary divine power of zeal. Which is the inexhaustible supply of passion and readiness. I center in that. It's not only of me. There is an inexhaustible supply of enthusiasm and audacity waiting to live through me, through you. So the invitation is, what can I do this day and every day to let that Spirit flow freely, fully, audaciously, enthusiastically? Letting it propel me to know and to do and to be what I am here to do and be. And could it be that as I do that, as you do that, that is how we go about saving and changing the world from within? So allow yourself to feel the focused energy of inspiration and exhilaration as your unique purpose calls to you. Opening, opening, opening to the Spirit moving in you. Take a breath and open your eyes if you haven't already. Bring in your attention to this time and space. I want to give you a fabulous update on our Greater Engagement campaign. Our new total, which is, remember, we have up to $30,000 in additional gifts that is able to be matched, so totaling an additional $60,000. And that is for the purpose of continuing to expand our programming and there it is, $51,848,000. So that's amazing. We're, $8,000 to our goal. And as I was saying, that allows us to continue to expand our programming, offer greater and greater opportunities for more engagement in different ways. I'm happy to tell you that we have hired a new director of growth and engagement, Liz Tansey. She has already been scheduled to be out of town with her family this weekend, so you'll be meeting her next week, but she started last week. We're super excited to have her, and you'll be meeting her and hearing more about her in your newsletter. So that's the sort of thing that this extra funding helps us with, and she'll be helping to create more programming, so we're excited to share that with you. So now is a time in our service where we give of our good in support of what we do here, which is completely funded by donations, which also is amazing. Everything that we do, everything that we offer. And by the way, if you'd like to contribute to that matching campaign, there's information in your bulletin with a QR code that tells you how to do that, or you can write GE matching on your check or envelope. There are baskets in the back for your cash and checks, and then there's also a QR code in your bulletin for learning how you can give electronically, which, talk about evolution, 90% of you do now. Remember 5 years ago when you said, no, not going to do that? I did too, but now I can't find my checkbook. So evolution happens, so thank you. Yeah, what's a checkbook, they said. So thank you for all the ways that you give, and however you are giving today, let's bless our love offerings together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. I am thankful.
There's always a moment before we start that feels like we're still standing in the dark. Don't know where we're going, but because where we've been, I get the feeling that this isn't the end. The beginning is such a perfect place. The future hasn't happened yet. Imagine the life we get to make. How lucky we get to get things started. Still unfolding every day. I cannot wait to get this started. Now
singer to hit us off for Zeal. Thank you. That was amazing. Thank you, band. Thank you. Did a great job. Woo. All right, I'm ready now. We're just getting started. Sit back down. No, just kidding. We will close with a prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. Amen. Hey, I forgot to mention one thing. Even though Linda's not here, we had a potluck scheduled, and we're going ahead with the potluck. So head into the fellowship room. It's okay if you didn't bring anything. There's plenty of food, I think. Join us for a time of fellowship afterwards. Okay, let's stand.
Let's sing. And let there be peace.